the Farmington Regional Animal Shelter. The calendars are being sold at various locations and events around town, $15 for one, two for $25. Because of sponsors, all the proceeds support the pets at the Farmington Regional Animal Shelter.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me, I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
It's 8:30 Monday morning here on KSJE, and time for our next guest on a busy Monday morning. Andrea Pena is here from the Childhaven Foundation. Always a pleasure to have you on the program. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming in. Merry Christmas to you.
Same to you. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you very much. And so this is always a special time at Childhaven because I know you kind of remind the community just about all the good things Childhaven does throughout the year, and people are in kind of a giving mood, and so you've got an opportunity to help them with that.
Yes. So we are running our Pledge for Children campaign. So this is our annual end-of-year campaign. And we are so thankful for the community support all the time, but especially here at the end of the year. And we get many calls of community members wanting to know what they can donate, how they can donate,
Sure.
if kids need Christmas gifts. One of the best ways to support the services that we have, the children that are in those services, is through campaigns like the Pledge for Children campaign. The purpose of the foundation, the Childhaven Foundation, is to support Childhaven and other at-risk youth serving organizations here in our area. So as far as things that people can give to,
Right.
we have a wish list online, and I am so glad to say we also have an Amazon wish list that people could see exactly what we need, how many we need, and they could just have it shipped directly to Childhaven.
There you go. Well, that makes a lot of sense. And so so you can accept items and also cash donations of money too, right?
Yes. So, and we have a newer online platform that people can give online. They can also do recurring monthly payments. So if somebody's looking to give through the whole year, which we love,
Right.
We now have a great system online. So childhavennm.org is our website. We have a lovely green donate button you can go to and see which way is right for you to donate.
There you go. And of course, we always talk about the fact that I know Childhaven gets a lot of grants and other funding, United Way and things along that line, and those dollars really help for certain things, but sometimes there's a little bit of a gap, and so a lot of these other donations and the foundation helps kind of fill in the gaps of maybe what a program might need throughout the course of a calendar year.
That is so true. So when you're looking at an organization like Childhaven that is multifaceted in and of itself, so we have the Children's Emergency Shelter, we have a foster care program, a CASA volunteer program, we have an advocacy center. Actually, we have two centers, one in Farmington, one in Gallup, and we have a therapy program. So there are some nonprofits where one of those things will be the nonprofit.
Right.
But for Childhaven, we have a lot of things under our umbrella. So it takes multiple types of funding sources, and some of those funding sources are restrictive in even how long they will be available. And so with the way that's set up, there has to be a more secure funding source, which is where the Childhaven Foundation was set up and has been instrumental in making sure that Childhaven can progress with the services, the very, very needed services in our community.
No kidding. Very true. And of course, Childhaven's been here for more than 50 years, as we know, right?
Yes.
And so it's because of, I think, the stability of the Childhaven Foundation that through ups and downs and economic good times and bad times, I mean, the need doesn't necessarily go away. And who could predict a global pandemic and what that would mean for services that Childhaven provides and things like that? And so it's been there. Doors stayed open throughout all the ups and downs and continue to do so.
Exactly. And throughout we're heading to 2 years now of going through a pandemic. We have not closed.
Big sigh, everybody.
I know. We never closed down for a second. We were open. There are some programs that did move to more online options. For example, our parent education program. That's one I didn't even mention. That one's in our advocacy center.
Right. But went to virtual for a while,
It went to virtual, and it was so successful to do it virtual because people were not having to
drive over.
And it was in the evening, but now it is available via Zoom, and it has been so hugely successful for our community, for those parents, and anyone who's a parent. And myself as a parent, there's always things that we can do to help ourselves and our kids. And so for those who especially didn't have maybe the model of parenting that they would like to follow as parents, this is a free option to the community to utilize this service. It's available online. And another good thing that's come from COVID, as
there have been
adjustments of this can work a little better in this way for people. So
we've learned a lot about Zoom and virtual meetings and things along that line, and how convenient it can be for some families and for some parents, and so that's great. And that class, I think, really helps to maybe break the cycle, if you will, of some of these things that we see generationally between my dad did this, and so I'm going to do that with my kids, and that may not be a good thing to do, or my mom, or what have you. And so not having good role models maybe doesn't mean that you have to parent the same way, and this class helps with that. And
also to know that there is a support system available outside of whatever family or friend unit that may be what the parents may be relying on. We have a Nurtured Heart program approach to parenting, and really making sure we communicate to children in a way that really helps them and helps the parent also in situations, because kids are so wonderful, but there's things that are difficult with raising children. Very difficult.
Right. Well, they don't come with instructions. No, I wish they did.
No, they don't.
But yeah, that's true. And a lot of folks maybe still think about Childhaven as just the shelter, but as you've mentioned, there are much, much more programs than just the shelter being one of the larger programs, but still there's a lot of other things that Childhaven does in our community, even the foster care and these other advocacy centers and things that you mentioned, the parenting classes, and more and more and more. And so all these things are ways that the Childhaven Foundation can help in all these different areas.
Exactly. And when we are asking people to donate to the foundation, we're really asking people to join our cause. Not all of us can be employees of such a wonderful organization, but we can do our part to make sure that the organization has the support that it needs. And when people donate, they're partnering with us to ensure that children get the quality of care that they deserve. And when we're talking about like the foster care program, one exciting thing that we are working on is actually a remodel for a foster care building. And so right now the foster care program is the staff are in the shelter, and we through the foundation acquired a building last year right across the street. So it was the former reprographics building, and we are remodeling it and hope to open it at the beginning of 2022. And that will also allow that program not only to just grow, but for people to have a place to come in and ask if they can become a foster parent, which we really, really need foster parents in our community, and specifically in our Childhaven program. So if anybody is listening and has even had the thought of at some time in the future, this is something I'd like to pursue, I would really encourage any listener who's in that position to visit our website, childhavennm.org, and we have a program list, and you can go to the foster care page, and there's information there, and we would be so thrilled to talk through that process with anybody.
The need is great. You have a lot of kids that are waiting, right, for foster home.
Yes. So shelter care, it's an emergency shelter. So children should only be, if they are in that situation, first of all, children should not need to be in a shelter.
Right. Ideally, you'd like to put yourself out of a job. I get that too,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
But in the meantime, you've got the emergency shelter, which is a great place, but should be just temporary, right?
Exactly. So it should be a temporary placement, and then the foster homes are needed to potentially be more of a long-term situation, depending on the situation. And that's the whole thing. I'm thinking about how people do call right now with,
Yeah.
can we make sure that the kids get Christmas gifts? Yes, absolutely. We do make sure we appreciate when people donate toys and things like that. The thing is, though, we don't know how many kids will be in the shelter on Christmas Day. There could be an incident Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
So we need to have enough gifts and things prepared for that. So that's one of the things sometimes we get asked for, like the list of maybe like ages and things, like ages and genders. And it's like, well, if people can donate what they think would be helpful, toys and hygiene things, that helps us be prepared for whichever situation. And not even just for Christmas, beyond, because these kids are coming into these situations, again, a temporary emergency shelter situation, with nothing. Not
Usually
just
they're
at
just
Christmas time.
take it out of the home and deliver it
Yeah.
to the Childhaven shelter, and that's with the clothes on their back, literally
Right.
sometimes, right?
Exactly. And so we also appreciate the donations during this time of items, because that helps us fill our closets in order to make sure kids can leave with hygiene items, clothes, toys, and if a child loves like a board game or Lego set,
Right.
they get to take that with them when they leave. So anyway, with the shelter care, that should be temporary, very temporary, so that a child can be in more of a home environment, whether they get placed with a relative, if that's not an option. Foster care would be one of the next options.
Right, and that's the foster care while the courts maybe figure out what's going on with mom or dad, and if they can be reunited at some point in the future, or whatever the future may hold. But that gives a more stable situation for that child, no matter what their age is, birth to 18, I guess, right?
Yes, and we've had situations even recently where we've had teenagers turn into adults. They've turned 18, and we make sure that they are well set up, and not just, okay, there's your birthday and
You're out. Yeah.
No, we make sure that
Right.
they have the financial resources that they need, as far as, do they have a bank account set up? Do they know how to use local transportation? Do they know what they need to do to get a job or to apply for college, or both? And all these situations are individualized, and so I'm very, very proud of our staff to see how they've handled these situations, even just during my time there, and how they really do care for the children.
Very good. Well, Andrea, it is the Pledge for Children campaign 2021, so the website is childhavennm.org.
Yes.
And folks can look for that green button
green button, yes.
decide if they want to do a monthly gift or a one-time gift or whatever the case may be, but that's how they can support the work of Childhaven.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. That's Andrea Pena from the Childhaven Foundation, my guest this morning here on KSJE.
This is the Engines of Our Ingenuity, made possible in part